virtue, out of compassion for the and end birth and death, and quickly realize non-birth.
Namo tassa bhagavato sammasambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahadi samya samputoshe.
Namo Taranto Sucheroye Elahadi Samya Samputoshe.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered, even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we understand the Buddha's actual meaning. Okay, Sarah, appreciate the Dharma request. Well done. Nice to listen to. And good evening, everyone, says friends in Los Angeles. Okay, all right, lovely. Now, we want to acknowledge country, say that we respectfully acknowledge the Kombu-Meri people of the Ugambi language region as traditional storytellers and custodians of the land, the waters, and the air where our monastery is located. We pay respects to their elders, past, present, emerging, and all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. 我们恭敬地承认Ugambi语族的贡布马里语人是我们寺院所在地的传统叙事和守护人。我们向过去、现在和未来的长者们致敬，并且向所有未曾放弃主权的第一民族的原住民致敬。Yeah, that's true probably anywhere around the planet, except maybe China, where the same folks, they've been on that land for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. The bells sound wide resound throughout 100 million years. The Buddha's and spread all throughout the world. The wondrous sounds that fill the Dharma reveries. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. Now, someday, when I turn to this page, I'm going to go, but not today. Okay, so, 众生传三千劫内，佛法让万亿国中，共宣其法界和平，利益报他那后的。Yes. Okay.
In which 老师他在某个地，所以他没有办法。对 So you decided to lecture 10 Transcendence chapter, and we'll listen to watch his lecture on the Venerable Hsu Yun's Pictorial Biography. 我们是之前有看过两次，最近一次是差不多1个月前。那今天是会接下来。So we have watched the pictorial biography for twice. and the times the day describe这个所有的一些解释，从解看到解释是我的expand more to start to watch the video.
All right. Today's talk is right here. The context. Let's read the story first, and I'll fill in the context as we go. Here we are. For those of us with old eyes, Master Xuanzang, Master Empty Cloud, two different pilgrims, two famous Chinese Buddhist pilgrims. Master Empty Cloud is 45 years old, which is 1/3 of his life, I might add. It's 1884. It is the 10th year of the Guangxu reign period.
虚云老和尚就是在他45岁的时候，他不是超过他年纪，因为那个上帝他活到100岁。
Let's, we can read together if you like. No need to put your palms together. This is not Buddhist, this is not sutra text. Here we go. Ready? 16日 文姬将公数日所污秽之衣服换洗干净，给药水1杯，服后17日病退，食黄米粥2碗，遂大汗轻松。18日病差移，公医谢曰：2度微科，都蒙救济，感恩不尽。文曰：小事一段, he said. On the 16th, Wenji washed the master's clothes, which had become soiled over those many days of illness. After changing the master's robes, he gave him a bowl of medicine to drink. By the 17th, the master's health began to improve, and he ate 2 bowls of millet gruel. He felt lighter and rested after sweating profusely. He recovered completely by the 18th and thanked Wenji, saying, "Twice you have saved me from serious illness. I feel endlessly grateful." Wenji replied, "No big deal. 没事，小事一段." Okay. Here is Wenji carrying his dirty laundry down.
期待他了解，就是文殊这里不是我是这个虚云老上他病危，这是第2次病危。这个文殊师利菩萨出现来，救了他一命。那这边片场就是这个文吉啊，把虚云老和尚脏的衣服拿去洗。他因为虚云老和尚是拉着他的痢疾，很严重的痢疾。
Onto the right place to wash. Notice here, look who's here. Here is a very sick monk, nearly died, Master Empty Cloud. In the ruins, a lean-to shed, basically, out in the mountains.
是虚云老和尚躺在那边，几乎要病危了。这个是一个破的寺庙，他在这边躺在这边。
Okay, so that's the story. And what's the context? The context is Master Empty Cloud is making a 3 steps 1 bow pilgrimage. And he is heading north towards Wutaishan, and he's not very far away. But anybody who has been up to Shanxi province knows that is rugged land, and you go for miles and don't see a person.
虚云老和尚那是3步半夜从古座山要拜到那个还有 peak 是非常的不平，高高低低的，也没有什么人。
And when you bow, you are entirely on your own. So he found a monastery, knocked on the door, and it was ironically called Xiaonanhai, Little Putola Mountain. And they said, sorry, we don't take monks.
是吧？现在是讲的事情，所以学校上要去挂单，这个叫小男孩的寺庙挂单，这个是要收的。
There's no room for you. You have to keep moving. So he, outside the city walls, snow falling, wind blowing, entirely exposed, and food, very questionable, very iffy.
没有办法，你就冲到城外去，就在路边找个地方在那边过夜。天气很冷，然后又食物上面食物有
Food that he eats, he got dysentery. Dysentery, people know, is a water-based illness, and it involves your body trying to get rid of whatever microbe, bacteria, virus is contained in the dirty water. And
不幸得的痢疾，但小的这个痢疾是很重，是上不血。
so he has to defecate. He has diarrhea, which means he's losing his bowels almost every hour. And it's also, I might add, accompanied by cramps. It really hurts because your body is just going, ooh, bad stuff. No, no, dump it, get rid of it. You know, get this.
光是下泻，而且腹部会很痛，久痛，所以是非常非常辛苦。因为身体的反应，说你吃了一些什么东西不好的东西，身体知道，而且对你的这个血会把这些不好的东西毒素给排出去。
Out of me. So dysentery, sometimes it can involve vomiting as well. The danger is you die of dehydration because your body is just getting rid of every trace of this deadly bacteria in your body. So
痢疾会致死的原因，主要是因为这个患者会脱水、失水是的严重，因为你血里面，然后又阅读，所以把身体的水分给排出去，缺水，另外
that's his situation, and he's out in a snowy field. What do you do? The cure, if you catch it in time, curing dysentery is not difficult. You have to just replace the fluids and wait for the body to get rid of whatever was introduced.
痢疾本来不是那么严重的，你如果有干净的水，然后喝那些水，把你这个失水的心情，解决吧，那过一段时间是在这个地方，这个荒山野外的地方，没有干净的水，自己一个人病得很厉害，连行动都有。
But it's quick. Dysentery kills children quickly because they just outgo all the fluids and you die. So
痢疾小孩子也是一个很严重的问题。孩子得了痢疾以后，会很快的就死亡，脱水脱得很厉害。
that's his situation. And we witnessed a miracle last week, which is in the midst of the cold, Master Empty Cloud sees somebody over by the wall kindling a fire.
上礼拜就是上次听到的是，晚上去了嘛，看，有个人在那边生活，原来以为那里是个北。
And he says, Mr. Wenji, is that you? And Wenji turns and says, oh, what a coincidence, you're here again. Hi, how you doing?
对，这文集人前里所以我真巧看到碰到你了。
Son of a gun. Well, that's really funny, isn't it? So then he hands him a cup of water, and instantly Master Empty Cloud feels restored. He's not healthy, but he's not going to die.
文集马上就给虚云老上一杯水喝，喝了以后他就觉得好很多了。当然不是说马上就复原，至少说不没有生有危险。
On that snowy field, snowy, craggy peak, right? So, who is it? Manjushri Bodhisattva once again shows up in the nick of time to save Empty Cloud's pilgrimage. And
所以，这个文集就是我就是列菩萨在危急的时候，就虚云老上第二次这个一命。
his life and his vows and all of the merit 3 years across China. So there you go, just amazing. And of course, Master Empty Cloud is like, it's not the end. He sees this connection with somebody whose name sounds suspiciously like Miao Qi Xiang Pusa, Wen Chi Wen Shu Li. One word from each of his 2 names. So
这个事情事件发生是在虚云老上这个3年的事情。从这个就是文是的文书实力其实比较强，所以可以看出他们来这个其就是文书实力上。不过虚云老上那时候不行，到后来才晓得。
how about that? That's the context. Okay, so miracle, and I might add,
把这一段稍微去问一下，这边比较浅的16，这是在那个业力的哪个月的时候，估计将工作这个期待。 公指的就是虚云老上几天所污秽的衣服呢，换洗干净，然后给药水一杯，给了虚云老上药水一杯。顺便提醒大家，就是这个文字本身是上人写的，它是根据虚云老上的念谱写的，然后这个画呢是上人特别请的一个画家画的，画的200多之多。
when you've got dysentery, often you don't make it to the toilet. So the smell and the discomfort of being in amidst your body's own waste is really, really unpleasant.
立即呢，经常带不去上厕所，所以身体里头会有很多的这个排泄物。你在这个上个星期的，所以这个几天下来，那是非常不舒服的事情。
So here's this beggar in air quotes, right? The beggar who says, I'll wash your dirty clothes, give you clean clothes, I'll feed you, and you should be okay.
这个我们今天呢，就给虚云老和尚 洗那个污秽的衣服，给了药水一杯，然后隔一天病就退了。以后就大汗大心气重，第一天就那个文殊师利菩萨自写2度为科，两次发生很严重的疾病，都受到你的救济，感恩不尽。那文集就是说小事一段，是说大不了的事情。
So, Master Empty Cloud goes, thank you. Munji says, don't thank me. He says, no worries, mate. It's okay, it's all right, he says. Ready? 单分除秽敌凡尘，大智若愚密度人。药水服后尽黄米，周身大汗露淋。Wonderful, wonderful poetry. He purged the waste and cleaned the filth, washing away worldly traces. Great wisdom resembles foolishness, as it quietly rescues people. After swallowing the medicine, the master could eat millet gruel. He sweated from every pore, a fine, sweet dew. As the body, with the help of the medicine, purged the illness. Okay, this line caught me. He says, 大智若愚, great wisdom resembles foolishness. Shifu would drop that phrase in every now and then.
这个寄送是上人写的，每一段这个故事里写这个4句寄送，这边讲的不会提很这个是那张文案，不会地方曾把这个世俗的东西的尘埃给洗掉。大智若愚，密度人。接下来释法师也会特别讲这个。这个大智若愚，密度人就是秘密的在度人。这个指的仍然是这个文殊师利菩萨，他现的是然后净方面是那个文殊师利菩萨先给了虚云老和尚药水喝，然后
To when he was describing the behavior of sages in the world, often he said the people with the greatest wisdom are not the fastest talkers. They're not smooth or slick. They often seem inarticulate, but every word counts.
说这时候，说人解释这个有智慧的人，他说的话，往往是讲每一两个字都是很重要的。我是觉得，上人讲的是大辩若拙，因为什么大智若愚，讲的会大辩才的人讲起话来好像是很笨拙一样。这里为生来说。Didn't explain they were saying that the great wisdom one, they actually I think what he said was the great arrogance, those people who are really arrogant. And they speak very closely, they don't have a good fluence, to good command of languages. However, each word counts.
So great wisdom sometimes can appear to be at a loss for words, when in fact language is not what you need at that point. 密度人。
有高智慧的人，有时候讲话语言能力，但是在他这个程度上，也是有。
In secret, crosses people over, takes people across. So here's a beggar. Here's a beggar. All right. This is, I guess, what beggars wear back in the Qing Dynasty or in China. He's got a hat made of probably a cabbage leaf or something. He looks a little bit like Ji Gong Ho Fo, right?
这个就是文起，他的帽子，很特殊的帽子。去跟那个书法的讲，也许这个是那个菜高丽菜啊什么的做的。那看这个样子呢，很像济公佛。
Living Buddha, Qigong. He's probably got, straw sandals in the snow and all. So Wen Chi appears as a beggar, but you notice he has the medicine for dysentery. He's got a fire starter. It's a snowy, cold landscape, and he can kindle a fire in the midst of the snow. And he happens to have a bowl and some yellow millet gruel.
我记留意想一想，他在这个这么难的地方，小学地方，他居然可以生起火来，然后还有碗，还有放去，就是没有这个能力。
Yeah, great wisdom resembles stupidity, 密度人, as it comes up with exactly what's needed to keep our pilgrim on the road. To keep
大slow在暗中来渡人、来救人，
keep him traveling. Pretty amazing. And how does it happen? It's, what do they say? 预病下药对机斗教. The teaching comes according to the potentials to hear it, and the true doctor has medicine for the illness. All right. Number 2, continued. Ready? Here we go. 公问文何来？曰长安。何去？曰五台。公曰昔与病，父子同行。问曰你去遂至此时，行路不远，不必拜一样。公曰为报父母往极恩，虽死不变。问曰难得，愿替父行礼。公愿范公曰顺便勿尔。The master asked when he from. Chang'an was the answer. Where are you going? Asked the master. Wutai Shan came the answer. Unfortunately, I'm still sick, said the master. Otherwise, we could travel together. Wen Chi said, you've not come very far from last year till now. You don't have to keep bowing the way you're going. The master replied, I must repay the weighty debt of gratitude I owe my parents. My vows won't change, even if I die trying. Wen Chi said, somebody with your resolve is really rare. Let me carry your bags for you. The master said, I'll give you half of the bowing merit. Wen Chi replied, no need, I'll just follow you. Okay, now there's a lot in this encounter, and my vows won't change, even if I die trying. Wen Chi said, somebody with your resolve is rare. Let me carry your bags for you. The master said, I'll give you half of the bowing merit. Wen Chi replied, "No need, I'll just follow you." Okay, now there's a lot in this encounter, and
这段是小文，是需要上然后从安排，那他要去哪里？到五台山去，然后上就在手之内，要不可以不行。文杰说，你去年到现在行路很远了，你去年到现在拜的都并不远，不必拜也有，你也没有需要拜，是这样的。虚老上就报那个这个最死的未来这个背行李，然后虚老上说，那我可以把我这个得到的功劳的功德分一半给你。那问题就说，
And I looked at the Nianpu, I looked at the source text for this, and for some reason, at this particular interchange, Master Empty Cloud wrote a lot. Ordinarily, his accounts are super terse. There's just a few words, and you have to kind of use your imagination to fill in the details. But in this case, we know that the process is Master Xuanhua, our Shifu, looking at the encounter and you say not congealing, crystallizing the essence to put into this very brief space.
虚聊上的脸谱一般他们都很简洁，但是很特殊的就是这段故事脸谱里头会有非常直接的陈述。等一下，是否会把那个找出来给大家看？好的，那提醒大家是上文从脸谱那边是本来很简摘要下来。
And then doing it again into a poem. So in this case, there's a lot, and we're going to look at it in just a minute because the details are fascinating. Okay, the artist gave us again a pictorial version. Take a look. You think 3 steps, 1 bow is easy? When you're bowing down the mountains or through the mountains, not easy. Much easier.
你看这幅画，你看到这个水脑上前面在不要以为说生活一半容易，看看这个非常艰难的事情。
Here though, if you got somebody carrying your bag. Here's Empty Cloud, who, mind you, has just been saved from death. How long does it take to rebuild after dysentery when you've emptied yourself? He probably lost 10 pounds in water weight.
别忘了，他才刚刚从这个痢疾来复原的，一般是需要多少天才能够得到疾完全复原？施法师说，这个宣好像也许就瘦的长时多
over that week. But he's there bowing, and the poem goes like this. 欲报瞿劳李舞台 一病再病度二灾，幸而妙极施甘露，时有复苏满愿怀。
其实往上面看一下，在欲报其劳，离舞台，就是父母亲的公道的劳务，并没有善有一做幸而妙极是甘露，幸亏妙极也是指的文极啊，妙极这不是给他甘露来，给他吃死而复出满愿死就是快死了，然后又复活满愿，就是能够满足他的愿语，上不一般的愿能够满。
He wished to repay his parents' toil by bowing to Wutai Mountain. Serious illness afflicted him twice. He was saved. How lucky that wonderfully auspicious gave him sweet dew, as if he died and come back to fulfill his vows. Okay, now, from a deeper perspective, let's step back a bit. This is the second time he almost died. And the second time he was saved in the mountains alone by this miraculous beggar.
所以这是第二次虚云老和尚，病危，几乎都快要生了。那也第二次来救了他，第二次就。
Of the four bodhisattvas that we're familiar with, everybody knows Guanyin Pusa. Most people know Dizang Pusa, Restored Bodhisattva. We hear of Manjushri Bodhisattva, and Puxian Pusa, Samantabhadra, is the least known. He's kind of the quiet bodhisattva.
佛教里头的四大菩萨、观音菩萨，这个家户大家都知道的。地藏菩萨也大概大部分人没晓得，就是那菩萨，现在知道人更少。几乎就是一个常可能是一个。
Of course, there are others. There's great strength, bodhisattva, right? There's Sudanas. People say Shansai Tongzi could be considered a bodhisattva. If you read the Puman Pin, there is Wu Jin Yi, infinite resolve bodhisattva.
除了这四大菩萨以外，那么有其他菩萨，像大势菩萨，善财童子，有人说他是一个菩萨，另外就是那个无尽业菩萨。
But of them, two appear regularly to interact with people still. Guanyin is, of course, famous for being responsive. Guanyin Pusa, to this day, comes to people who Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa, Namo Guanyin Pusa, Guanyin Pusa, Guanyin Pusa. If you remember to recite Guanyin's name, her vows include 1,000 hands, 1,000 eyes, 1,000 ears to respond to those in need. So we say, 春生救苦。
在这个所有的菩萨里头，有两尊是常常会现身来救众生，是观音菩萨，所以在那个上就有还有听说前年有 听到你的呼唤的声音。
Hsu Yun, Guanyin Bodhisattva who responds to our cries and shows up in the nick of time to save us. Now, it's less
在最危急的时候，观音菩萨会去我们送了他的名字，就会来显来就
known that Wen Chi Manjushri Bodhisattva has from before the Han Dynasty, before the Christian era, right, before the time of Jesus, the Chinese have been recording stories of Manjushri Bodhisattva showing up.
我们说是菩萨在公元开始第4纪之前，中国的不少的出现，就同时
to save those who are sincere in their cultivation. Rarely do we have stories as detailed as Wen Chi the beggar coming to save Master Empty Cloud.
现在的故事就是这个文殊师利让我们现身。如果你有足够诚心的把他先生来去做，是很少有这个心，就很来什么人的去做寻找心。
This is an example of Wen Shu Da Shi Yingling, right? What do they say? Yingling, Manjushri Bodhisattva's incredible responsiveness to save the day at just the right time. All right, let's take a look now. We've got, not that, hold on. Right here. Now, I've only got the Chinese for this, so I'm going to have to translate for the English speakers as I go with your help. I'm going to ask those of you on the call who are listening in
这个是在年谱许多少年谱里头取出来的。
to pitch in when I get it wrong here. Okay, what did we hear? We heard Manjushri said, no big deal, it's okay. One question, where'd you come from? He said, Chang'an. We knew that because why? In the first encounter, that's where he was going. He was coming from Wutai, heading towards Chang'an. Now this time he says, oh, I've been in Chang'an, I'm going back to Wutai. Where are you going? 回舞台。
其实刚刚我看的是好像是那个文集从哪里来？回答是从长安，要去哪里？不是这个，其实我们因为上一次他出现的时候，他就是说他是从五台山过来，要去长安。现在等于是他从长安要回五台山去。
Going back to Wutai Shan. So, I said, this is Empty Cloud's journal. He says, 可惜我在病，又是拜行，不能追随先生。He says, wow, I'd really like to go with you, but I'm bowing. So we'll have to part here.
这个语是学的好像，因为这是在运到这上面，所以这个学的好像，对。我觉得我是这个，就是在改变的话，跟你随行。
Manjushri, or the beggar, said, 看你从去年到今, you know, it looks to me like from last year till now, 拜路不多, you really haven't covered much ground. You haven't come very far, have you? 9年能到, who knows when you'll make it, he says. 你身体又不好. Furthermore, you're sick. Your your health is not good. 觉难进行. it's going to be just way too much for you to continue. 不必定拜. You don't have to keep bowing like this. 朝礼也是一样的. You know, it'd be probably, you just don't need to do what you've been doing. Okay?
文集就对着需要叫做看你这个，那应该是全冬天到现在所拜的路并不多，只能600多元，哪里能到？你身体不好，很难进行，所以不一定要拜啊。你朝礼仪式也是一样，对朝礼的时候，拜我需要。
What is this? 师父 would say, 一切是考验，看而怎么办？对面若不是，须在从头练。Everything's a test to see what you will do. Mistaking what's before your face, you'll have to start anew. This is called a test for Manjushri, for Master Empty Cloud, from Manjushri Bodhisattva.
所以这个是我们说菩萨在考验去考上，说身体不好啊，不用拜了，你去炒餐就够了，不用三不一拜，你就看他的是个什么样，所以说一切是考验，看而怎么办？对面若不是。去在从头念，就是在这个考验。
You don't have to keep bowing. It's okay. You're sick. You got a perfectly good excuse to stop your bowing. He says. All right. What do you suppose?
你有最好的理由，因为你身体不好，所以你不用去拜。
This is where Shifu didn't record the details. This is what I want everybody to see here. So, Master Empty Cloud said, 先生美意可感. He says, I really appreciate your kind thoughts on my behalf. 但我出世不见母亲. However, when I have never been able to see my mother's face my whole life. I was never able to see my mother's face. 母为生我而死. My mother died in order to give birth to me.
这段像写的那一段没有办法被说话，就是主要让大家看过这个东西。这个语义就是熏陶上我们说的先生美意可感。这先生指的是文集，文集先生，你的美意啊，你的好意。但是我出世不见母亲，虚老上他生下来的时候是个肉团，把他母亲吓坏了，他真的是吓死了。所以他说母为生我儿子，母亲为了生他这个儿子，你还记得他们俩，他父母亲一直到40岁的时候都还没有孩子，所以他们到城外要去求子。后来就生了虚老和尚，但是他出生的时候是像肉团一样，把母亲都给吓坏了，也失望到极点，以为这辈子没有不可能再生孩子，那没有好久就死了，所以他说我出世不见母亲，就是没有看过母亲里，其实在他第2天以前就死了，但是第2天。是第3天，有个卖药的人到他们家来，把这个肉团给剖开来，看到那个熏老生在里头。但是他母亲那时候已经往生了。
父尽得我一子。My father only had a single son, me. 我竟被父而逃. And you know what I did? I turned my back on him. and ran away. This is the first time we've ever heard him admit this in these terms. Right? 父
接下来讲到父亲或者儿，前面讲过他们父母亲，那是到了40多岁都还没有孩子，他们去求关于他的儿，做呢就选择他这个我们一直到现在中国人没有听到过的，但是对这个事情。
因我而辞官 My father, because of me, had to quit his job, his official post. And that's the first time we've heard that too. 而祖寿 and Yao Tian Wang Ji, I think what he's saying is his lifespan was shortened because of his worries for me.
讲的就是父亲为国事关，父亲本来是在福建那边当官的，是因为那个虚云老和尚然后出家了，就把他带回老家湖南去了，他就辞了官，然后寿命就缩短，因为其实这个前面有讲到，他是因为那个虚云老和尚的母亲死了，然后那个虚云老和尚又跑掉出家去了，所以他就生病了，就是好奇，一般我们讲的，就父母亲的恩像天那么大，没有办法抛弃父母亲的恩。
耿耿数十年矣 I didn't see him for over 10 years at the end of his life. 特此发愿朝山 For these reasons, I've decided to make my pilgrimage.
数十年，耿耿这个，一般我们讲的耿耿于怀了，就把这个事情一直程度，那个为母亲为了生我而死，然后父亲呢，起来领导，因为这个关了手，所以这事情发挥的去解决Let's talking about it, and the whole thing troubled him for decades because the mother died because giving birth in and repay the kindness. So the parents' kindness is troubled him for decades.
Okay, let's take a break here. So we knew that Master Empty Cloud mentioned his mother every time. And I might add, this is the second time that Manjushri told him, stop. Don't do what you're doing. He always said, well, my mother. First time,
他从一个把他母亲来，这次是我们是第一次提到父亲，这也是第二次，我们说是骗他是没有被失败下去。
he said his father. And the when at the beginning of our story, the beginning of the whole life story of Master Empty Cloud, his interaction with his dad was a big part of it. Empty Cloud, as a young boy, before he became a monk, wanted to cultivate. He loved nature. He loved big questions, looking at the sky and thinking how small I feel, how big the sky is. The universe is huge. What's my role in it?
这是第一次宣老上看到父亲的恩，那这个所以是把的回到以前宣老上年轻的时候，小的时候，他就对这个大自然，对这个宇宙的人啊，在非常有兴趣，在问这个问题。
Dad said, "Your role is to replace me, to carry on the family name, to become a great exemplar of the Shao family."
父亲回答说：“你的任务呢，就是来继承，成为一个超家的一个榜样，把超家的传下去。”
To become an official, follow in my footsteps. It's obvious. Duh.
指挥官跟我一样，就是照着我的脚步去做就对了。
That's what you're supposed to do. And the kid said, "I don't want to do that." He had a cousin who was his age, who was his companion. The two of them escaped. They went out into the world.
那学校上就是我那个堂弟啊，就是复活的这个堂弟也对修行很有兴趣，他们两个就相爱，好像学校。
To cultivate the way, Dad sent what? Strong men to bring him back. Dad sent bodyguards to grab him, prevent them escaping, and they found him and brought him back.
现在就派人，把他们两个搞回来，然后收回来。
So the dad said, "Okay, well, you know what? You're going to get married. Time for you to get married." So he gave him 2 wives. One
收回来以后，父亲就说：“你应该结婚了，就是替他举两。”
so that to save her reputation, and one who was his proper wife. So here's the young man with, what kind of situation would this be for?
先替他找两个夫人，这两个夫人其实实际上前面讲的是，因为宣教是他要是属父的人，所以就觉得一个是这样的尽管外形他属父的项目，那这两个他太太宣教在11岁的时候就已经先定定下来了，从前很早，因为他的祖母很担心这个问题，所以很早就11岁的时候就已经和两个女子订了婚，那直到这个他们在18、19岁的时候还结婚。So the story actually was that the Venerable Hsu Yun was engaged at the Venerable because he's not supported. So girl and the other one is for his uncle. That's why he married 2 women at age 18, 19.
Almost any young man having 2 wives, and the future position, the promise of a good life, because Dad was already serving an official role. So what did the dad do? He said, "Oh, my son likes bigger questions. I'll find him a Taoist teacher and teach him how to follow the Tao. And the son read the materials, heard the teachings, and said, that's not it.
你想啊，这年轻人，尽量去的，富有相关的家庭很不错，你的前途是不知道，但是对这个一点兴趣都没有。那父亲晓得他对这个宇宙呢，世界这个道家道家的老师来教他道家的知识，但是好像
It's not the ultimate path. I want the ultimate path. So he gave up on and ran away again.
因为他认为这个道家的不是究竟，所以放下他这个道教的老师，好
Pulled him back, got him married. He said to his two wives, I'm not going to be your husband. We're going to stay spiritual friends. Because why? I'm going to leave home. He told them. They made a pact.
虽然结婚，但是他对这个一点兴趣都没有。他还对他的两个太太讲说：“我觉得我们就只相信你自己好的是学佛法。”
He said, you're officially married, you're happily involved in my family, you're secure, your future is secured, I'm out of here. He ran away and left.
他的太太说：“你在我们这个家庭这个地方前途是非常好的，可以，那就。”
So, Dad was shattered because how do you explain a son like this who's got other things in mind other than what 95% of the young men in the world would consider a great deal? I gave him a beautiful future wrapped in a ribbon. He turned his back and ran away. So,
目前时光到极点，他们没有办法理解为什么要准备这样子，准备把这么前途90%的人不会高兴，父亲听到越高兴，是学这些就不屑这些东西，所以这个
poor Dad, his first wife died and child. Second wife got sick and died. Dad, brokenhearted, went back home to his ancestral home, quit his job, and just kind of pined away. So, Master Empty Cloud here.
父亲是非常的伤心。父亲有两个太太，一个太太是生的，虚老和尚，就是太太是没有，他老师两个太太一起出家的。The Venerable Hsu Yun's father and his two wives. The first wife died because of giving birth to Venerable Hsu Yun. The second one became together with Hsu Yun's wives. Three of them just became not together.
Here is saying, I carry that burden. I understand that from my father's point of view, I was a total loss. I was nothing but zeros, goose eggs from my father's point of view. I brought him nothing at all.
所以这边讲的 他父亲对他非常的失望，他没有带给他父亲任何东西，也是这个对宇宙带来就是完全是失败的，因为。
So, for that reason, I've decided to go 3 steps, 1 bow. 求菩萨加倍. I'm seeking help from the Bodhisattvas. 愿我父母脱苦, so that my parents can leave suffering and in a future life find themselves, because of me, with a better future. 早生净土. May they be reborn in the Pure Land soon.
因为很高很快，所以这方面要求菩萨加倍，然后他的父亲能够
任他百难当前飞到圣境，死已不敢退愿. For this reason, even if 100 difficulties come my way, before I reach the ground of the sages, I will not give up my vows unless.
所以他发言说，即使有多少的灾难当前，困难当前，飞到圣境，死不敢退愿，怎么样就是死也不敢退，把这个愿停掉。这个圣境，我觉得是指的是五台山，因为他是要拜到五台嘛。来看看什么圣经。So this I think is talking about the Mount Wutai. This is the ground, sacred ground. Because his vow is to like pilgrimage to White Mountain. So the Mount Wutai.
I die. All right? Any questions about his iron resolve? Right? Look at that. 死亦不敢退愿. Even if I die, I'm going to keep going.
看到他这个志愿有这么像钢铁一样的这么坚强，死亦不敢退愿，这个死他也不会退心。
That is why Manjushri says, 你诚孝心坚固. Your filial resolve is really solid. Yes, Swananda. Furthermore, you're 1 in a million. 我今回山, I'm going back to Wutai Shan. 以无生即事. There's also no hurry, no rush. I've got no pressure on me. 我愿带你负行李. I will carry your bags for you. 伴送行程. So I'll keep you company along the road. 你但前拜. All you have to do is keep bowing. 轻累许多心不二念. I will share your burdens, reduce your troubles, so that you can bow without any worries.
这个文字是是很难得，这么谦虚。我今天是要回五台山去做个什么急事情，所以需要心就是不要打任何妄想，专心的拜就好。
I'll take a load off your mind, is what he's saying. Okay, 若能如此. So I said, Master Empty Cloud said, wow, if you can do that, 先生功德无量, you've got incredible merit and virtue. That's a Buddhist monk's way of saying thank you. We don't say thank you. You don't want to take away their merit, but you still say, wow, that would, that's incredible. That would be, this is the Buddhist equivalent of wow, far out. Okay, whoa, says Master Cloud, far out, 功德无量. 倘我拜到五台, wait till I get to Wutai Shan, 愿以此功德 一般为降父母，早登菩提，一般奉送先生，以求救助之德，如何？
虚云老和尚就说，就是说，你如果能够这样的话，替我背行李的话，那你的功德，所讲的功德会让是出家人道谢的，他的方法。如果我能拜到舞台的话，愿意把这个上过一半的功德的一半回向给父母，就是早日成佛。另外一半呢，奉送给先生，说是菩萨帮助你，来酬谢你做的怎么样。
He said, I vow to take all of this merit and virtue that I get from bowing, give 1/2 to my parents, that they realize Bodhi soon. 1/2 I will give to you, Master Wen Chi, to thank you, 以酬救助之德, to repay you for the virtue of saving me. What do you say? 如何? What do you say? 不敢当, no thank you. 你是孝思，我是顺便，不必表谢. He says, nope, you don't need to do that. I accept your filial kind thoughts towards your parents. 我是顺便, I support that. 不必表谢, don't.
按文集回答说，不敢当，你不用把这一半的功德奉献给我。你是孝人，你完全是纯孝，那我只是顺便送你陪你一程，所以不用跟我道谢。
Thank me. 文基在此照应4日，病疫大退. The end of this dialogue is that this is how it went for 4 days, and the illness was healed. The
所以，文琪在那边照顾的10天，10天以后呢，却有什么病症，就退得差不多了。
Sickness went away. Okay, now I want to point to this because why? Just the other day, we were out having lunch with some lay people, and one of our Dharma protectors said to me, how does transference work? How does it work? That do you give merit to everybody, or do you give merit to individuals?
讲到这里，法师就想到，前几的在济南那边的一些居士们，在那头在居士说，这样没错，给别人。
Can you do both? How do you do transference? And here's an example. Right here. Master Empty Cloud is bowing from the start to the end to repay his parents. So he is taking, and how does it work? If you saw Master Hsu Yun, Master Empty Cloud, bowing by wherever you are sitting right now, everybody listening, we got 108 friends online now. We have 20-some friends here in the library with me. If you looked out the window and saw Master Empty Cloud bowing by, you would be very impressed by the physicality of it. He takes 3 steps and puts his body down on the ground, head, knees, hands, feet, elbows. Then he stands up, takes 3 more steps, bows down to the ground. He may have covered a number of feet in those 6 steps and 2 bows. And if you watch, he slowly, in this way, progresses across the landscape.
讲到怎么回向的问题，那是师父是说，你坐在那里，如果看到窗外，如果是虚云老和尚从那边回的话，可以看到他拍很慢，拍下去的时候，先手先手力头的这样去。下面是走下去，所以拍得很慢。你可以看到它这个往前的速度其实很慢的。
And then you have to look out the window and turn your head to see him. He's down the road.
过了一阵子以后，他又到比较远的地方去，在中看得到他，转头去看到他在比较远的地方。
And if you come back in an hour, he's way down the road. He's in 1 hour, he's traveled another number of steps, another number of bows. It's a very slow but a very steady physical process.
你1个小时以后才回来把它这很慢，这是很稳很定的。
And he's got a mark on his forehead called a bowing bump, and his hands are made of leather because he's constantly putting them down on rock and dirt and vegetation and whatever is on the ground. And his clothes are dusty and dirty, and he is
我仔细看这个在拜上个礼拜的虚云老上，看到他额头有一个棒子在那里，被拜下去的时候头有着地，所以就拜了一个棒在里面。他的手呢，粗糙的像那个皮革一样，因为他手要碰到地上去，泥土了、石块了，所有的东西。那是他的衣服呢，就是非常的很多泥土，因为就是本场都是泥土。
as much made of dirt as he is made of flesh and bone, because he's putting his body prostrate on the earth over and over and over and over and over. And
所以他整个身体里的一半是泥土，然后一半是他的那就拜的时候，就是完全都要到地上去，所以就是全身都在那里。
you'd say, boy, that's hard. That's why bowing pilgrimages generate gongda, merit and virtue. This is the measure in Buddhism by which you measure the results of cultivation.
有人会说这个不是那种不是这样会来说没有错，这是为什么身为一个人那么大的功德。
So it's hard work, and anybody who's done a pilgrimage in this way, or those of you who have done 10,000 Buddhas repentance, or the 1,000 Buddhas repentance, or anybody who has even done Basha Bafo, Da Chan Hui Wen, the 88 Buddhas repentance in one ke, knows what it's like to bow to the ground over and over. This is
曾经拜过三皈拜的人就晓得有困难。没有拜三皈拜的人，你说参加过佛菜，你去佛菜，然后我唱的，你就晓得这个礼拜的时间容易的事。
are one of our primary ways of worship in the Mahayana, primary ways of practice. And what I'm describing is only the outside. What's going on inside is almost even harder because why?
前面讲的这个只是在这个外头身体方面，但是里头呢，心里那个更困难。
Why the ego resists. The big me who fights to survive in a competitive world doesn't like to be made smaller. And boy, oh boy, when your head is at the level of shoe tops, everybody else's shoes, it's hard to hold on to the big me.
我们一般人的自我非常大，你在外头很竞争，我自是很大。那相反的话，你是把身体接触到地上，他的表面写字高度，所以那个自我才受得了。
The big me in the middle, most important one in the whole world is me, which we've been told by our mom since we were born. We've been told by our grades and our grade card. We've been told by our position in the company. We've been told by our friends and our enemies how big our ego is.
从小，父母亲就跟我们讲说，我们的什么大的事物，在公司里头，你的在自己的衰，让感觉到你的事物，甚至你的朋友不是你的敌人，让感觉到你的大的事物。
Or how small it is. And when you bow, those views have to change. Because you
你拜的时候，你那种自我的那种观念必须要改变。
just can't maintain that idea of big me when you're looking, you open your eyes and you see insects on the ground. You see cigarette packages, not so much anymore, but you see gum wrappers and you see discarded garbage, right?
你拜的时候，太少了，从前把力现在面我做的是现在香港比赛其他东西，所以你没有办法说看到自己大的自我在哪里。
At your nose, under your nose, right? It's hard to keep that sense of self, which is why bowing is so effective as a first means of elevation. This is
你在拜的时候没有办法再保持那个有自我的情况。现在为什么你拜的是也差的情况和
why Master Hua picked bowing as his first practice from age of 10. What do they call it? They call it 一切诸佛本所修行. It's the first practice that all Buddhas practice. So,
像为什么叫我是12岁的时候就开始在拜，这是一个非常基本的情况。
he's been doing this. He's been generating gongda. And now he says, okay, half of that gongda I'll give to you and half to my parents. Empty cloud, dedicating merit specifically to certain goals. Now, in order
这边的例子就是宣导想给父母亲，有一班要给这个文气，就是一部分，功德想给个人。
ordinary person might say, whoa, really? Okay, sure, I'd love to have half of your merit. But Manjushri Bodhisattva, as we know him, because we've heard how the story comes out, we know who he really is. Who is this mysterious beggar? We know it's Manjushri Bodhisattva. And he says, no thanks, no need. I want to support your wish to cross your parents over, so I'll shoot all that merit back to you, back to them. Now, other people might say, 虚雲老和尚, his pilgrimage had a limited result. Because why? Because he was bowing only for his parents. I've heard some people critique that way.
有人批评虚老和尚说他这个长一般功德只会向别人的父母亲，所以这个成就是有限。
On the other hand, when I would ask those people, what are you doing for your parents? Because we know at the end of this pilgrimage, during the next decade of his life, he saw his mother in the Pure Land.
那你的父母亲做的是什么事情？你怎么报答他们？而且需要他的母亲知道这个死去的去。
And he actually saw her there in a vision. So if you knew that you could actually take your parents across and repay their kindness, would you dedicate merit to them? Maybe so. Maybe you would.
你如果知道你这个功德必须给父母亲，或者早期的去一辈子这样做。
Maybe you would. Okay. So this is why looking into the Nianpu, the actual source text for Master Hua's pictorial biography is really very helpful, very interesting.
因为时间差不多了，后面有一个事情很明显，because the time is almost up. The Reverend Heng Sure actually later talk about the true sorrow. They bow from San Francisco to Washington for 9 months, and at that time there was a comet it's going to getting close to the Earth. Then suddenly the comet turned the projection and turned away. So everybody was very surprised. Astronomers were very surprised. 时间严重的，我赶快把后面讲的故事，就是在苏老师他们上过拜之前，快前或者上过拜。那时候呢，有一个卫星，有个彗星呢，也是非常快速的接触到地球，但是突然呢，这个卫星转向离开了，没有人，大家都很奇怪，为什么这样子？那有弟子问了上来说：“你不知道这两个是会一个，所以关于这个感动，就把这个彗星就像打乒乓或者打棒球一样，到去，所以why summit the temple right and run away. And the master said, you don't know? It's because these 2 months and the 3-step about the merit virtue move the Guan Bodhisattva and Guan Bodhisattva sort of hit the summit away just like the bat, just like the baseball, like ping pong ball, then away. 是年龄较远的，我们就到这边结束做起。So we'll stop here.
见根，在放生上根，舍弃生口，经文。心大菩提心，自真放生，众生心的佛，名为老上。